Greetings, YouTube. The anti-abortion movement itself appears to be taking more cues from its far-right fringes, groups that reject the term pro-life and call themselves abortion abolitionists instead. Not satisfied with the continuing assault on women's health care going on in red state after red state, a new breed of pro-life activists are rejecting the title of pro-life in favor of abortion abolitionist. To these activists, there are no exceptions, and women who abort should be charged with murder. And this is a thread on Metafilter, one of my favorite sites, and the first posted comment I think is really cogent. I guess the weird thing I'm feeling about this is that treating women who have abortions as actual murderers is the logical conclusion you get if the standard pro-life arguments over the last 50 years are taken to their logical conclusion. Should we deduce points for honesty? I obviously acknowledge that it's gross and inhuman, but anybody who followed the pro-life movement and is now an adult knew this was the end game. And yes, this was always the end game. The fact that they haven't just leapt directly to stoning women to death in the streets is progress, I guess, because you know that's what they want to do. They want to drag the women out of a clinic that provides abortions and stone them to death. Also, I'm opposed to the term anti-abortion because they're anti-choice. Because pro-choice gives people the option. It says, here's the complete array of options you can have when you discover you're pregnant. And seeing as only 3% of Planned Parenthood's activities are abortions, the rest of the time it's women's reproductive health and general biological health. It says, those choices are often, I want to have this baby, or I'd like to have a baby, I'd like to plan for it, hence the name Planned Parenthood. Because if you're smart, you plan for that kind of thing. Because preparing your body as far as nutrition and supplemental support is key to having a healthy pregnancy. But of course, the morally bankrupt abortion abolitionists don't see it that way. They see that 3% existing, and they want to eradicate that. They want to eradicate any woman that has sex that was not intended to produce a baby. They want to completely strip women of their bodily autonomy and their agency. They don't want women to have a choice of any kind. They want to turn women into broodmares, into nothing more than walking wombs. You are an incubator and you are nothing else. And the fetus you carry is far more valuable to these abortion abolitionists than the woman carrying it. I suppose they'd be really happy if it's a guy, because, guys can't get pregnant, so they don't hate them as much. But of course, this is all an outgrowth of the patriarchy, social conservatism that supports it. This is saying that women simply are not equal to men, that they do not possess the same rights to their own body that men do. Now, the only uterus you should control is your own. And if you don't have a uterus, you shouldn't get the right to control anybody's uterus. Not your body, not your choice. And before anyone in the comments goes, well, what about the body of the fetus? The fetus doesn't have any legal standing in the United States of America, and it shouldn't. When Roe v. Wade was originally decided, it was to set at 24 weeks of pregnancy, and I think that's a pretty good window. It's a long enough time period for a woman to discover she's pregnant and then to make a cogent decision. Yes, I would like to carry this pregnancy to term. No, I would not like to carry this pregnancy to term. And no one else should be involved in that decision except the woman. Not the man that was involved in the production of that fetus, not her family, not her doctor, not Congress, and sure as shit not these abortion abolitionists. It's not their bodies, it's not their business. But there are states pushing 6-week windows. 6-week windows! Most women wouldn't even be aware they were pregnant in the first 6 weeks, which of course is their end game. Or they're trying to impose restrictions on clinics that provide abortions that are absurd, so the clinics have to close. Meaning that more and more women don't have access to abortions. They can't get to an abortion location, someplace they could have one if they want one, driving up unwanted pregnancies. Now, if you can't trust a woman to make a decision about her own body, how the hell can you trust a woman to raise a child? But you don't care about that. The abortion abolitionists do not care about human beings. They only care about fetuses. That's it. Because once that child's in the world, they're not going to supply that mother with all the funds she needs to raise that kid. They're not going to make sure that kid has housing and food and medical care and an education. They don't give a shit. All they care is that kid is born. And that miracle is brought into the world. And as soon as they look at that lovely baby, then they go, and they move on with their lives. Because they do not care. Because all they care is about harming women. All they care about is making sure that women realize if you have sex, your punishment for that is pregnancy. As like I said, this is all tied into social conservatism and the patriarchy, about controlling women's lives, about turning them into things and not people. So there aren't enough fuck yous to the abortion abolitionists in the world. I don't know where these people came from, but I wish they'd crawl back under the rock that was their former homes. Social conservatism is a disease, and we need to do everything we can to get rid of it. We need to teach people that women are human beings, and they have control of their own bodies. They possess bodily integrity and moral agency. And trying to take them away from women, trying to strip women of their rights and turn them into nothing more than an incubator, is the most immoral act of all.